John.
Hello, welcome to 2 Minute Drill with Johnny.
Cripe.
And Cole.
So to start off the podcast, we're going to talk about high school football. First game, Thursday night game, Prep versus Millard West. Prep comes up with the 15-10 win, improving their record to 3-1.
go.
They're looking good this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jacob Ruby with 110 rushing yards, with 1 receiving and then 1 rushing touchdown. So 2 touchdowns and 110 rushing yards for Jake Ruby. That's a huge game. He's looking like
one of the best running backs in Omaha.
in the state. Yeah, for sure.
It's pretty nuts.
And on the defensive end, we got Alex Costello with 2 picks, including the game-winning interception with under a minute to go. Just snagged it.
That was so hype.
Yeah, what a moment.
He was
for the
going
kid.
crazy running
Seal
across
that,
the field. He was feeling good. And then Vinny Saul with 8 tackles, and then 2 of those being TFLs. So he had a really big game.
Yeah,
Big game,
I mean,
defensive
obviously one of the best corners in Nebraska, probably for sure. I mean, he's just put on performances every. I mean, not put on performance every time, but
For the best corner
he's
on the team,
best
for
corner
sure.
on the team, and he's very athletic, and it just shows with those tackles, and he's very physical.
Definitely a defensive game for sure, though.
Yeah,
With
very
it being
low scoring.
15-10.
Yeah, low scoring. And then kind of changing the low scoring, Millard South versus Millard North. Millard South beats them 63-21 with 84 combined points.
Yeah,
Is North the
nuts.
3rd or 4th ranked team? Or
They
were
were they were top 5, I'm pretty
That's
sure.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
showing the show is really good to show how dominant Millard South is this year.
And then
Jet Tamala.
Jet Tamala, 315 yards and 4
He's
touchdowns.
putting up the
He's
most absurd stat lines.
over 1,000 yards this year
In 3 games?
games.
4
Three-
games.
4 games. 4
And-
games.
How
That's
many
crazy.
touchdowns? I think he said 4 touchdowns.
He's had 4 touchdowns the last
At
3
that
games.
last 3
yeah.
games, yeah.
And then Isaac Jensen, who's a junior wide receiver, had 2 touchdowns and 70 yards.
That's
so
yeah,
big game
that's
for him.
nice.
That's nice.
And then Amir Hill with 100 total yards and a rushing touchdown. Their
Those are
offense
nice.
is
Yeah.
looking absolutely
Yeah,
unstoppable.
they
Yeah.
look insane.
No surprise.
Like-
I mean, they have probably best receiving core. And then
Best
they have,
O-line. They're
and-
huge.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And
They
I've gone to some of the games. Those fans are into it. Their crowd, I think, is another huge thing that helps them, because even at away games, they have their whole side filled out with students. It's just crazy how many people they get to come to all the games.
Really,
Yeah.
they travel pretty well. I haven't been to.
Yeah. I've been to like 3 games this year, and the parents and fans have always showed up and are just relentless. Never like
Yeah, that's definitely a huge help.
even when they're up by 40, they're just still going at it, just still hyped.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I think that's a big reason, I think, why they keep smoking these teams, just everybody around them pushing them.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that was basically it for high school. There was no other great games and stuff. But on to college. First game of the week. Very disappointing game. I mean, terrible for us. I mean, obviously our native Nebraska.
Kind of like a high school game. but-
Yeah, yeah, because it was a Friday night. Nebraska's lost to Illinois. Final score was 31-24. They lost in overtime, and I mean, depressing. I mean, that night was just soured by that loss. That whole weekend was, and you know, Rayola. When you look at the stat line, he did have a really good game. Besides that pick,
That one unlucky pick.
And-
I think it was a toss-up. I don't know.
But if you watch the game, you know at the end, I mean that he
missed
did,
that pass.
Gosh, sacked.
kind of
That's the
sold.
game.
What was it? It was
3rd and 42.
Yeah, 3rd and 42.
That's not. I don't say that's on him though. I think
There's
that's on
Not totally on him, but he made some
he
bad
needs
decisions.
to get the ball out. Of it.
He shouldn't have kept the ball on that last sack. He should just give it
that was,
away.
that was a little ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, how did he get sacked like 3 times in a row or something?
3 times, and one of them he just kept running backwards.
No,
Yeah.
it was twice in a 15-yard.
Twice,
penalty.
yeah,
It
and
was
grounding,
terrible.
twice, 2
just-
sacks and grounding.
Yeah, and then one of them he just keeps running backwards.
Yeah.
And he could have thrown it out of bounds, which
Or
just
giving up 8 yards instead of 20.
25 and just trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
He just-
Yeah.
Freshman quarterback, he just needs to know how to fix that.
Yeah,
First loss of the season, though, you got to be able to. I kind of expected that.
yeah, for sure.
To lose to one of the next 3 games, Purdue, Illinois, or
they
Indiana.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
had
did predict that. Yeah,
I had them going like 7-0 coming into
Yeah.
Ohio State.
I didn't think they would. Yeah, I don't think they were
good,
looking.
though.
You knew
Not this game, but
I
they
knew
do
that
look
they were gonna lose a game to one of these
Yeah,
toss-up teams,
one of these
but I just
toss-ups.
didn't want to. I just didn't want to put it. I mean, it just makes it a little biased.
Yeah,
because I want them to do
for
good.
Sure. I mean, yeah, but I mean, think about how like fresh of a team they are. Like to be good, like for being a good team, they're fresh to being good, and they're expected to lose.
Yeah, they'll
one of
drop
those.
a couple games.
Yeah,
for sure.
they're
I
gonna
think
drop a couple, but
if they show Ohio State that they can ball and USC, I think that they can still make a run.
Even UCLA.
to a really good bowl game or quite possibly the playoff.
Yeah,
Hopefully is the best case.
I don't
They
know.
can-
I
they
don't know
can
about
rally.
the playoffs.
Yeah, they
I'm
just-
hoping to finish
They
with the
just
win.
can't drop games to teams like Illinois.
Yeah.
that's
like Purdue.
They can do that once. They can't. They gotta rally here and really.
Realistically, to make the
regroup.
playoffs, you can only have one loss. That's in
only
have
Nebraska.
one. Yeah.
So I think that's out of the picture because we have
You
Ohio State.
you really
on it.
think?
We have Ohio State on our schedule.
Yeah, but they're gonna be. I mean, they'll be top.
But a 2-loss Nebraska is
One.
not going to get over a 2-loss USC or something. You know what I mean?
To a certain degree, but I mean, you gotta let the season play out. I mean, you could always have.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
like,
can see
think
what
about Florida
happens.
State,
They can drop. They were
Good
ranked
teams
what?
can
Yeah.
drop
Yeah.
crazy games.
And it depends on who you lose to, I guess. It's
Yeah.
it's kind of hard
Exactly.
to
It's
say.
hard. It's way too early.
Yeah,
way too
for
early.
sure.
is what
Yeah,
I'd
for
say.
sure.
With that said, Illinois' QB played phenomenal. He really high completion percentage.
4
He had 4 touchdowns, 21 for 27 on passing attempts, and Pat Bryant, Illinois receiver, had 2 of the 4 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, he was cold.
Yeah, he was
was
gold.
good.
5 receptions, 74 yards.
Big game out of him.
Yeah.
Was that the first play or the first touchdown Tommy Hill just kind of gave up on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got
I
behind the
noticed that-
defense and just didn't.
I noticed that he was out of the game like the second half the last 3 quarters. Like they pulled him or something.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He wasn't
I
in-
think after that, that's just not good effort.
He wasn't even in pads. Like
That's
really.
he was out of pads. Yeah.
I wonder if he got
Was it
hurt or
injury or-
something.
I
That
don't
sounds
know.
like he got hurt. If
Yeah,
it's
there's
like,
no way that he. I mean,
Yeah,
he got
he was
getting
out of
sacked is
pads.
one thing. Out of pads.
take his pads off. Yeah.
Yeah. On to the next game. K-State, I mean, absolute shocker this week. K-State got upset and blown out by BYU.
Yeah, that's
Final
crazy.
score was 38-9. And K-State offense just, I mean, they couldn't buy anything. I mean, it was awful. It was, besides their kicker who scored all of their 9 points, it was really sad from the K-State offense. And their BYU's defense looked great to combine with that, which is why I think they got that upset and blowout. I mean, they had 2 picks, and one from Tyler Batty and one from Harrison Taggart. And BYU special teams did phenomenal too. They had a 90-yard punt return touchdown.
That'll win you
yeah.
games, man.
Yeah.
That's special teams. Yep. And yeah,
K-State's quarterback, horrible.
horrible stat. I mean,
2 picks,
2
and
picks,
130 yards. I could be doing that.
15 for 28. That will lose you games. That's I mean, BYU really took advantage. Of
Not
that.
protecting the football.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, you got to be more cautious. I mean, I think they kind of what probably happened was that they were just probably going to that game thinking they're going to roll them.
Yeah.
Ranked team versus unranked.
I
and,
agree.
Yeah, on to the next game, closest game of the week.
Best game of the week.
Best
I
game of the
think.
week.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Really good game.
Yeah, tough loss for USC, but final score, Michigan won 27-24. Miller Moss from USC, QB obviously,
Dude's a
played
dog.
played phenomenal. Had that one blemish, had that one pick, and Will Johnson really took advantage of it and took it to the house. But yeah,
Yeah.
very very underwhelming game from their QB Alex Orji. But with that said,
man.
their run game was
Jeez.
really bad.
7 for 12,
They
34.
pounded
That's
the
the
rock,
worst.
though.
I think I could realistically. I think I could throw
Johnny,
more
you
than.
cannot-
I think
Johnny, you're getting sacked every time.
I think I could
John,
throw a check
Johnny, you
down
played
and get more than
Michigan.
30. I think I could get more than 32 yards.
bro.
you're nuts. Anyways, they pounded the rock. 160 yards and 2 touchdowns from Khalil Mullins.
Yeah, he was
Mullins.
ridiculous. He had that 41-yard break touchdown. That was crazy. And then they had, and I know they had, I think, 2 other No, one other rushing
Huge
touchdown.
game out of the defense for Michigan. Just looking at how bad Orgy did,
great.
just jeez.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that when you look at the quarterback stat line, they come out winning the game, which is just hard to believe for me.
I mean, really good game to watch if you were a neutral fan, had no skin in the game. But really not good to watch for if you're a USC fan.
I'd be irate.
Yeah,
not
irate,
be happy if a quarterback has under 50 yards and they still beat my team. I'd be not happy
for sure. Yeah.
All right, moving on to
NFL.
Rams Niners. That was a great game. Rams take that 27-24. The Niners, they're 1-2, I think. That's rough. They were expected to win the Super Bowl this year from most people, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. The Rams?
No,
sorry.
Niners.
49ers,
Yeah.
Juwan Jennings.
I think they were down. Yeah.
Crazy.
Rams down 14-24 in the fourth and come back.
Yeah.
Late score to win.
I mean, that's where you need a vet like Matthew Stafford. I think I've said this twice in a row. Where
for sure
he's still a really good.
He's so old, but he's still really good.
Yeah,
he just has
like the smartest NFL.
Yeah,
he's like the smartest
great
NFL player
IQ. Just knows what he's doing. Doesn't do stuff that like
takes the check
quarterbacks would do. Yeah, like he'll most quarterbacks will take the 40-yard bomb instead of the check down to get 10 yards, and he just doesn't do that. He doesn't take the shots that have a low probability.
Every running back he plays with,
it's there.
If he does take the shot, it's most always on point.
He's got a 70-yard
he
bomb.
throws bomb, and they're fast.
Yeah.
They come out quick.
He's just a stud.
Yeah.
Purdy went 22 for 30. 292 and 3 touchdowns. That's pretty good.
That's
all to Juwan Jennings.
Jeez. Half the receptions, 175 yards and 3 touchdowns. 45 points.
I didn't even know who the guy was before the game. And he comes out with 3 touchdowns.
Crazy.
I don't think that's almost a stat line.
That's a quarterback stat line.
It's a really is. That's unheard of.
If you had had him in fantasy, I could guarantee you, if your team is somewhat decent,
you won.
He's on the bench, and if you started him, number one, your team's sorry if Juwan Jennings is your wide receiver 1, but
not anymore.
If you win the game having Juwan Jennings putting up 50 points, that's just
you got to be mad after that.
Yeah, I'd be not happy.
Yeah, the guy in our league who had him had he had Dallas Goedert as well who had 27 points. Yeah. And then he had his bench tight end was Cole Kmet, had 24 points. Most ridiculous.
Was it Sammy?
Yeah.
Sammy.
Matthew Stafford 221 and a touchdown. And Kyron Williams did great. He looked great for fantasy.
He did, yeah.
That was a guy I thought, because he's returning their punts.
Mm-hmm.
They're using him everywhere, which is crazy. I hope he doesn't get tired out.
Yeah, all
just
around
because
really good
he's
athlete.
such a good athlete.
Yeah.
And just
he went to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
90 yards and a touchdown for him.
Yeah.
Great game.
Mm-hmm.
Next
for
game.
Sure.
Last game.
Ravens versus Cowboys. Great
game.
That's Ravens take that 28-25. Dak had a big game.
Almost 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then they still lose.
It was, I think I typed that in wrong. It was 379 and 2 touchdowons.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Through 51 passes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think that is right.
Nuts.
Yeah, they didn't have a main receiver. I think their tight end had the most yards and receptions, but he spread the ball around.
Yeah, they don't really have a big running back.
They don't.
Just Zeke.
He's not terrible at all. He's really old,
bad,
but
he looks like prime.
He looks
Zeke.
like he's been doing good.
Yeah.
And he's huge.
He's big.
He's massive.
He's always been. He's never been
he almost was.
He's just huge. He's just
huge,
a freaking naked.
Yeah.
It's weird because he was almost I don't want to say it, but he was almost washed a couple of years ago, and now he was
on the Patriots.
Yeah.
Didn't hear anything about him, and then
now he's just
comes back and killing teams.
Anyways,
good
Lamar,
to hear. Good to
threw
see.
for 182 and a touchdown, rushed for 87 yards. Typical Lamar.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, 25 carries, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
That's a Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I had him in fantasy,
looks real good.
and he got me, like,
and
30
that's another
points.
guy that's just a beast.
I mean, untackleable is what I'd say.
Yeah.
That's how I
It's like
describe
prime
it.
Eddie Lacy.
Yeah, and
Eddie Lacy.
and
That dude's fun to watch.
He's gigantic.
yeah,
Yeah.
He's like a bowling ball.
you can't even like you can't even
Derrick Henry is just he's 6'4", 250. Just pure muscle.
pure. That's what I was
huge. Have you
getting at,
seen the
pure
pictures
muscle.
of him? Just his arms are bigger than his
and
pads.
his lifts. His
Yeah.
lifts are just unbelievable. And that was a guy who had a lot of doubt around him at the beginning of the season because they thought, well, Lamar's just gonna run if they need to run it, and he just people were kind of starting to get the washed.
Mm-hmm.
He started to get that washed.
They've never had a
rumors.
prominent, really good running back.
Yeah, been forever since I've seen the Ravens have like a really dominant running back like that.